there, hi there, ho there, and welcome to the Beyond the Film podcast. I'm one of your glorious hosts, Tyler.
I'm Ryan.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
I'm Justin.
I
win! Okay. Great start. Good start to this.
Yeah, good job, everybody.
When Ryan wins, we all lose.
That is true. That is true.
Yes.
So anyways, I'll just take over. Today we're talking about Predator Badlands. Specifically.
Yeah, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I have not seen a Predator movie since Predator 2, and I was like a kid.
So then you're not familiar with the the Predators with Adrian Brody?
Nope.
Shane Black, the Predator?
Nope.
Okay, yeah.
I saw Alien vs. Predator.
I think you're missing.
But I was a wee lad, and I was just like, aliens.
Yeah, same. Like, I saw Alien versus Predator so long ago that it's like I could not tell you
what it was about. Anything, yeah.
Other than that, an alien faced the Predator.
Yeah. There was actually more AVP in that one than there was in Freddy vs. Jason.
No Freddy versus Jason slander.
Yeah,
I'm not. It's not slander. I'm just saying there wasn't enough fighting between them.
I'm going to say right now that Freddy vs. Jason holds a very specific spot in my heart, specifically because it is the first horror movie I ever watched. Yes, ever.
Wow.
I was, as a kid, I was terrified of scary stuff. And then my brother actually came home and put on Freddy vs. Jason, and I watched it, and I loved it. And then I watched all the Freddy movies, and then I watched all the Jason movies. And obviously it stuck with me a little bit.
I couldn't tell. Not at all.
Just a tad.
Yeah.
I mean, for how big of a horror fan you are, Freddy vs. Jason being your first one is
insane.
Crazy.
I wish I could remember my first, but
I'm sure that I had seen something, but Freddy vs. Jason was the first one where I sat down and was like, "Oh, I like scary movies."
Yeah,
Chucky was mine.
I feel Chucky is that for a lot of people. With you saying that, I now know at least 3 people to where Chucky was their first experience with horror movies, and then 2 of those people are like, "Yeah, this horror movie thing isn't for me."
It did take me. I was very on and off with Chucky, where I did like Chucky, but then I was scared of Chucky. So I have a love-hate relationship with him.
Yeah, and I saw Chucky late, so dolls never scared me in the first place. I remember my sister was terrified of who's the dummy from Goosebumps?
Slappy.
Yeah. So my sister was terrified of Slappy growing up. And then that episode just did nothing for me. Mine was Werewolf and Fever Swap. That one terrified me.
Oh, that was a scary one, dude.
Yeah, dude.
That was
the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Dude, the atmosphere in that one is insane.
So, I want to also just kind of say that we just had about a 30-minute conversation about how we're going to change
off topic.
Our whole aesthetic of the channel and do 10-minute movie reviews. Obviously, this one's going to be a tad bit longer, but
maybe.
Yeah, we're going to start doing separate videos and release them more often, so maybe we don't get off track right away.
Yeah, we'll reel it back in.
Exactly. So, I know we all kind of have some feelings on this Predator movie. I think that it is kind of a good mix between us, and I know Justin's... No, I know Tyler's, because I saw Tyler. Sorry, my weeks are blending. But I would like to hear Justin's opinion, because I didn't get to see this movie with you.
Same.
No, you
so,
did not.
Yeah, because me and Ryan saw it together. Justin's the outlier here.
Justin's the outlier, yes. I did enjoy it. I thought going into it was going to be just the Predator, and Elle Fanning would come in later on in it to help him figure out, what the heck's actually going on, and maybe trying to stop him, and then realizing he's not as bad, something along those lines. But I figured it was going to show us how the Yamcha start off their killing, not AVP, but you send one Yamcha to an island, a planet, see how they do it without all the high-tech stuff, and just with the bare minimum to prove that they are a true hunter and that they deserve to get their gear and everything. That's what I thought this movie was going to be. It still was good. It still was kind of close to that, just minus having, which Ryan told me, I think the last time when we went to see a movie, that it was like a Banjo-Kazooie, game where she's just carrying along. And then also Elle Fanning felt very Marvel-like with all the quips and the jokes and everything. And at times that took me out of it because I'm thinking this is going to be a serious thing. And like the beginning of it started off so serious with the brother getting killed right away, and then like the dad just like, we need to kill the young one here, he's not worthy of being in our clan. So like I was thinking it was gonna be a bit more serious, but then we get Elle Fanning quipping, and then we get this little fun creature that's gonna be a plushie probably, and like that's just not what I was expecting going into it. So I still enjoyed it. The runtime flew by. It did not feel like it was 2 hours long. It felt like it was nothing. I was like, we're at the beginning and now we're all the way at the end. But I mean, visually it looked good. I was impressed with some of the action scenes. Like it was still good, and it was kind of cool to see a Yamcha as the main antagonist and the protagonist instead of it being like the villain or what people are trying to get around, essentially.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the only thing that I'll say is I actually really enjoyed the Elle Fanning storyline. I don't think I would have enjoyed the movie as much without it. But I also really like Elle Fanning and Dakota Fanning. I don't know why, but they're very nostalgic for me seeing them in movies. And I don't see them a whole lot. So, literally, like, my kid's been really obsessed with My Neighbor Totoro, so it was really interesting to Elle Fanning plays like a 7-year-old in that movie, and like jumping from watching that directly going to Predator. I just thought it was cool, so it made me like it more. But no, I like that it was kind of less of a Predator movie that we've seen and more of almost like a Star Wars spin-off, it felt like. Kind of like Mandalorian almost. It didn't feel like it was Predator universe to me. What about you, Mr. Tyler? How did you feel about it?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't know if you had more to say. Yeah. So Ryan, I agree with you. Like Star Wars is the franchise that came to mind. Like as we were walking out of this movie, I'm like, this very much feels like maybe not necessarily like a family-based film, but like it's got like that, everyone can love this fun little adventure we're going on with this unlikely ragtag group of anti-heroes in a way. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of dug what it was putting down because Predator is a franchise that has established through multiple films, in fact, every other film in this franchise, that the Predator is a villain that our heroes must overcome. So now that the Predator is the hero, you get to take the franchise in some much more interesting directions where you can have him as sort of a reluctant Venom-like anti-hero who needs to, prove his worth to his Yautja clan and find, like his actual clan along the way, right? And I think that's such a fascinating turn for Trachtenberg, who has essentially become the de facto head of the Predator franchise, right? So you have the first two films, you have the Schwarzenegger classic, you got the is it Danny Glover who's in that second one?
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So like you have that Danny Glover one, and then the franchise is basically dormant for a while. And then that Adrian Brody Predators one comes out. It was good at the time, kind of forgetful. We'll talk about that next week with Running Man. And then you have Shane Black return, who wrote the first Predator film. I don't know if he directed it, but like that, The Predator. And then once again, the franchise kind of remains dormant. And you obviously have the Alien versus Predator films kind of doing their own thing in the background to various levels of success. And then Trachtenberg kind of comes out of nowhere with Prey, which, Ryan, you said you still haven't seen, right? I know you said you were going to watch. Okay, yeah. So Prey is awesome because it very much felt like, how like Assassin's Creed is like, if we want to do something more interesting, we're going to go to a different period of time. And Prey is like, why don't we throw a Predator in 18th century Comanche American land and just see what it can do? And the movie is awesome. Like, I think it was a Hulu original. I wish it would have came out like in theaters so I could have seen it. Supposedly they released like a Predator Badlands double feature. in theaters. So I think that would have been really cool. So I'm like, you know what? I'm picking up what Trachtenberg's putting out. And then Trachtenberg does something where instead of making yet another Predator movie where the Predator is the villain, needing to be overcome by a hero that, frankly, in the last few films, you just don't care about, right? I would argue outside of Schwarzenegger, like, who's another protagonist in this franchise that you've actually cared about?
Yeah, I can't name. I mean, obviously, I
It,
can't.
it would
but-
it would have to be the girl from Prey, but like that's the closest we get.
Yeah, but even then, like I dug her at the time, but like, do I think about her often as like one of the greatest protagonists of the 2020s? Not really.
No.
But like here, it's like, why not make the Predator himself the hero? And it just gives way to such an interesting and fun new direction for a franchise that really hasn't had a breath of fresh air in quite a long time. And I mean, it's just fun that yes, you get to follow a Predator, but then like Trachtenberg also gives you a world that is just so fun to chew on by basically throwing him into a planet where like literally everything from the creatures to blades of grass are deadly.
Yeah.
And it just ends up being like a really fun, as he mentioned, Star Wars like adventure film that I just totally dug. And I heard he's trying to make another film. He made like a anthology animated movie that I've heard was pretty good.
It's very good.
It's very good. Well, now I got to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I totally dug this film. You know, I mean, with it being the typical Star Wars like vibe, like you get a very typical Star Wars like narrative. So, you know, a lot of the plot points are quite predictable. It's maybe a smidge too long, but like minor gripes. I mean, you can't go into a movie called Predator Badlands and expect to see a Best Picture winner. Like,
there's definitely more pros than there are cons.
I do want to say that I mean, what was it, like a quarter way into the movie, I turn over to you and I guess like the biggest plot point for the movie pretty much. Like it is a very predictable movie.
And you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean,
not at all. It's still fun. It was still a fun twist. Like it didn't take away at all that it was guessed in the least. It's just if you're paying attention, it's definitely something that I think it should go to show how like well built the world was that I was so into the movie that I caught it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's so entertaining enough that you. Oh, sorry, Tyler.
Oh no, go ahead, Justin. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, it's just so entertaining enough where it almost feels like it doesn't slow down. It just keeps going from one beat to another beat to another beat to where you're not thinking of anything else because you don't have time to react to what just happened in the last scene because now he's getting attacked by another creature, another alien. So it does keep you, like Ryan said, immersed into it, and like you don't think of it unless you like are actually fully paying attention because you're just so lost into what they're doing.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think all the credit in the world goes to, all right, I am looking at his name and watch me still butcher it. Demetrius Schuster Kolomatangi, who plays
a long name.
Who plays Deck, the Predator, in here. And I think without, speaking English, without even using typical mouth movements, he is able to convey, a strong level of facial emotions in here that are, quite like it's almost circus-like, right? Like Andy Serkis, and how he's able to kind of bring CGI characters to like a next level of authentic thespian impact.
Yeah.
And I mean, Elle Fanning serves as kind of like a grounding force, right? She's the only, they set up the fact that like Elle Fanning speaks English and it's basically auto-translated to the Predator language. And yeah, she's essentially the ground of this film. There's fun little creatures that come into play that end up being a much bigger part of the movie than was established. But I mean, maybe it feels like a Star Wars movie because at its very core, it's a very, very basic retelling of the hero's journey, for good or bad, right?
Absolutely. I definitely agree with you. at its core, it's something that we've seen before, but it's just different enough to still feel really fresh and fun.
Yep.
And like Trachtenberg's done such a good job with Prey and then Predator Killer of Killers that he's built the world so big that it doesn't feel like it's the same story. It feels like it's fresh and brand new because we haven't had so many Predator movies in such a short span. Usually we got to go 7 years before we get another Predator movie.
Yeah.
Well, and it's Trachtenberg specifically guiding the direction of the franchise, right? I mean, one of the biggest failing points of like the Star Wars sequel trilogy is the fact that, you know, Abrams is brought in to essentially be a guiding force to kind of bring people back into the world of Star Wars. Then Rian Johnson takes it into such a boldly different direction that ends up alienating fans. And then the franchise kind of doesn't know what to do because Colin Trevorrow was supposed to come in and direct it, the director of Jurassic World. That's, you know, canned. And then they bring in Abrams to kind of like retcon the stuff that nobody liked in 8, but also try to continue his original story, and it's just a mess, right? So, you know, would that sequel trilogy have been better if J.J. Abrams just did the whole thing? Maybe. Would it be better if Rian Johnson got to continue? Maybe. But, like, at least with Predator, we get Dan Trachtenberg laying out his vision for this world through multiple different ways. And I don't know if you guys want to talk about this, but alluding to what Elle Fanning's character is and what that could potentially mean for the world it's in, we could potentially see, you know, a cinematic universe type crossover film that fans were hoping that 2004 film would have been.
Yeah,
right.
I definitely see it coming with.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not a
and...
bad spoiler, but yeah.
Which is interesting because like the Alien franchise does not consider AVP canon at all in their stories, but the Predator franchise still considers AVP somewhat canon into their story. So what happened in those movies still happened in the Predator whole world, but the Alien franchise like almost said, no, we don't want anything to deal with those movies at all, which is just very interesting how they go about that. Like, it's not like it changes much or diminishes. I mean, there's a lot of bad Alien movies, so having those movies in there wouldn't really make the franchise crappy. So I don't know why one side decided to keep it, but the other side didn't want to keep it.
Right. Well, I actually have an answer to that. I believe it's because the Predator films are episodic, right? Like, there's no real connection from Predator film to Predator film. Like Predator 1 and Predator 2. Predator 2 is not a continuation of Predator 1. Predators is not a continuation of Predator 2. Whereas Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, like, it's a continuation of the Ripley storyline, where Predator has just kind of made a whole franchise out of just, you know, Twilight zoning its way to, yeah,
almost like a Stephen King book.
Yeah.
Where they mention certain stuff, but it doesn't matter if it's from the same
story.
So
it's like what's his like fantasy series that like everybody
Dark
like
Tower.
Dark Tower?
Yeah, Dark Tower. Like, it's, you know, like how like there's a bunch of other like references to his other work, and there's references to Dark Tower. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, before we get off on a Stephen King tangent, does anybody else have any final words for Predator? Trying to reel us back in here again.
I'd say Deck is probably one of the top 3 Predators of this franchise.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's
best.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the first, where like seeing the Predator for the first time is just such a awesome experience. I mean, he's the only Predator that gets any sort of development, because I mean, the other Predators are just mindless. Yeah. Well, maybe not mindless. Mindless probably isn't the right word, but like, you know, you don't get into their head, right? The movie's about seeing them kill other humans rather than feeling what their journey is supposed to reflect to us from a human level.
And I think the only one we actually get to see him on his journey is the one from AVP Requiem, where you kind of see him from the planet and realizing like he's the cleanup crew. He's got to discard all the Predator tech, all the aliens out of there just to clean them all up. And like, I know lots of fans consider that one from Requiem like the best Yamcha of all of them because of just how much of a badass he is and how well he kills what he is trying to do. He doesn't leave any prisoners. He takes them all down, no problem. So from what I hear, he's the best Predator, but that also could easily be debated.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I'll have to take your word for it, because I actually never bothered to see Alien Requiem. Or
I don't think anyone can see it. It's such a dark movie.
Oh yeah, right. That's the constant criticism of it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so do you want to do our thing, like when you would recommend people to see it?
Yeah. I definitely say recommend see it. Probably, I mean, it's already, by the time this video is coming out, it's already been out for a little while. If you don't catch it in theaters, that's okay. It was really cool on the Ultra screen that we saw with the Dolby Atmos, but just catch it at home, catch it on a streaming service. It'll probably go to Hulu with Predator's background.
Every other Predator movie is currently on Hulu, by the way, if you're interested.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think if you can still see it on a big screen, see it on the biggest screen you can. I think there's a lot to visually chew on here, and I think it's a movie that I think should be seen on the biggest screen you possibly can. But yeah, once this episode comes out, if you got to rent it, get a nice 4K rental on your nice 70-inch TV in the living room and have a good time.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely one of those, if you can see it on the screen, it's good to see it, or either get like a sound bar, because the person who I went with to go see it, they mentioned something I didn't even think of, is the sound itself. It like makes you feel like you're in that world. So having that sound also there with the visuals, just it brings it all together, and it's definitely worth a watch.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But awesome. We'll see you guys in. We're still figuring out. It'll be a couple days for a Running Man. It'll be in a week. Who knows at this point? You'll get it soon.
Yeah, it'll come out.
You'll get it when you get it.
Yeah.
Could be tomorrow. I'll figure it out. All right. See you guys soon. In less than a week.
Less than a month.